Hello, everybody. So I've gone live a little bit early. I was going to post a link in the. Should have posted a link earlier, but I can't post a link now. Never mind. I'll wait to see if anybody actually comes to the stream, see if it gets notified. I was supposed to be doing this at 8 o'clock tonight, but I've got something on, so I've gone live earlier. Probably nobody going to be knocking around. Now 2 people have come in. So I was supposed to be doing this live stream about 8 o'clock tonight, but something's come up, so I've got to do it a little bit earlier. Hi, Jack. How are you doing? How's things? Well, let's see a few more people come in. I'll try and share this, the link, if I can. Go to YouTube and share the link. But yeah, I've got some stuff to talk about. Obviously, the video I made today this morning hasn't been received very well by Paul Thorpe's followers, but I want to go into that as well a little bit because people just don't get it. They really don't. They don't know the difference between drama and responding to somebody and criticizing them in the form of constructive criticism and debate. I don't think people are actually understanding that. But we'll get to that in a minute. Stream's probably going to lag a little bit in a minute because I've opened up another tab and this computer doesn't like it when I open more than one tab, believe it or not. It slows everything down. Wait for that to load up. Hey everybody that's coming in. Like I said, I should have been doing this stream about 8 o'clock tonight, but I'm doing it early because I'm actually going camping tonight. I'm going out camping. I'm feeling getting a bit of cabin fever, so I'm going to go out and do some camping tonight. That's what I'm going to do. But we need to talk. So apparently, Paul Thorpe has reached out to Danny Roscoe, and they're going to have a live stream together, a bit of a live stream debate, because Paul Thorpe replied to Danny Roscoe and said he wanted the right to reply. Which is fair enough. That is good. At least we're going to get some discourse on that. Should be interesting. Should be an interesting debate. I hope Danny Roscoe doesn't allow him to dominate the conversation. I don't think he will. I think Danny will have some hard questions for him, and it'll be interesting to see what actually happens in that. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, Jack, about the whole Paul Thorpe thing, especially these fans that have come to my videos, or come to my video today and yesterday's. So I think they're missing the point. I think somehow they think that Paul Thorpe is allowed to put out what he wants on the internet and not get any criticism. And if you criticize him, apparently that's drama. It's not free speech or responding to a video where he's actually talking to the right-wing YouTuber community and asking questions. And you'd think if you put a video out there asking questions of a community, then you're going to get responses. But apparently that's drama. I got accused of bullying as well. Apparently I'm bullying Paul Thorpe. I got accused of name calling him. And at no point in that video where I addressed his video did I name call him or anything. I'll look and see if I can tweet out this. It's not loading. Right, forget that. We're not going to bother with YouTube. But yeah, apparently criticizing somebody is now bullying them. What's Jack saying? Tell us what Jack's doing. I'm surprised Farage and Tice won't have him, considering these more or less the same. Hello, how you doing? I should have got a few of the comments up actually, addressed a few of the comments. I might actually do that. I'll screenshot a few of the comments from the video so I can do that. Is that it? Actually, I've got them here. I can read them out, and you can go and check them out on the on the comments. I haven't got time to screenshot anything. Right, so this is, I pinned this to the top of the comment, and this isn't for people to attack them. I just want to give an example of how people come to my videos and respond. Right, so this was on my video today on criticism of Paul Thorpe is bullying, apparently. So this is what the person put in their comment. I listened to the first half of this, switched it off, as you didn't say anything of substance. Well, if you switch off halfway through a video, how do you know I'm not saying anything of substance unless you watch the whole video? It's a bit silly, isn't it, really? I rate Paul highly. We need to start getting together now. There are three only possible leaders: Nigel, Rupert, and Ben. Nigel is badly flawed, but has the momentum. Rupert and Ben should be able to form a team. You can't see my chat. Can anybody else see the chat? You should be able to. I'm streaming from StreamYard, so I can only see the chat in StreamYard because I don't have YouTube on at the same time while I'm streaming. If you're in the chat, how can you not see the chat? Yep, you're chatting. I'm seeing your comments. And Jack says he can see it. So you must be in the chat. But yeah, that comment, and it got 5 thumbs up. So we'll have a look at some of the other comments in here. Because somebody was actually saying that I couldn't actually criticise Paul Thorpe. Bots, mate, okay. Jack, hello. Yeah. Yeah, we can see you in the chat, all right. So, yeah, that was interesting. I just responded to him. Thanks for proving the video's point. If you had watched it, I doubt you would have made this comment, which is true. There were some other comments on it. Let's have a look. See if I can find them. Where are we? There we go. I'm trying to find the comments where they said I wasn't allowed to criticise Paul Thorpe. I wonder if they've actually deleted them because they're not showing up on here anymore now. Nope, not showing up anymore. So they've probably deleted them because they were getting a lot of pushback from my subscribers. But let's have a look. Let's have a look at what Christian's got to say. Paul was previously a member of Anne-Marie Waters for Britain, and thus this disqualifies him from being a member of Reform. Right, okay. I don't understand though, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if this is just me being irrational. All right. So Paul Thorpe makes a video, and in that video, he's calling out YouTubers for not backing Advanced UK. And he says that all the right-wing YouTubers should be putting out content backing the Advanced UK party. Now, if you put a video out calling out other YouTubers on the right wing, don't you think it's likely that you might get a response to that? I'm just putting that out there. And do you think that my response to Paul Thorpe was in any way unreasonable, what I said? Was it just criticism? Because that's all I did. I mean, Paul Thorpe does it all the time. he offers criticism out of other people. So by his, I'm not saying this is poor thought, by the way. This is not poor thought. This is his followers. So his subscribers are coming out and saying that you're not allowed to criticize Paul Thorpe, because if you do, that's drama. It's drama, it's bullying, and they don't want to see it. Well, I'd say to them, tough luck. I mean, exactly, right? Because that's something that the left don't do, isn't it? The left don't call themselves out, even when the people that are on their side are deeply flawed in what they're saying. They don't call anybody out. We do, because that's how things get solved. That's how bad ideas get discussed and they get pushed to one side as being bad ideas. That's healthy discourse. I just don't get it. You know, this blind loyalty where people think that certain people can't be criticised. Okay, his followers are getting offended for him. They're acting like lefties in a way. They get offended for other people. You know, on the internet, this is what happens. You have debates. You have debates, and you know, you have a back and forth. And if the person chooses to acknowledge you, they choose to acknowledge you. And that's what I said my piece. I said my piece in the video. And the only reason I made another video about it today is about the followers coming to my video and calling me a bully, which is rubbish. You know, this is what happens. You call people out, you address their concerns. I'm not going to go through every single comment that's basically the same argument and address it sometimes. If it's just one comment, I'll just address that comment. But if it's loads of people saying the same thing, I'll make a video addressing all the people making that argument, because it's a lot easier than going down the comment section and replying to them all with the same argument. It is. That's what I do. And I know a lot of people say, why are you wasting your time addressing the comments? Why do you? It's not because I'm thin-skinned. It's nothing to do with that. It's that you have to call people out if they're wrong. And this is why I labelled the stream, you know, keep calm and carry on. No, we've done enough of that, because that's supposedly the British way, isn't it? Keep calm and carry on. You're just supposed to ignore it and just carry on. Well, I think we've done enough of that. And what has happened, you know, leading on to other things, this is what's made the country go down the shitter really fast. Is just keeping calm and carrying on. It's similar to not looking back in anger, isn't it? You know, where do you think keep calm and carry on came from? It came from World War II, didn't it? Just keep calm and carry on. It was government propaganda at the time to, you know, calm the people down, and it was necessary at the time. It was a necessity at the time to keep people calm and carry on and keep the country going in wartime. It was needed, but it was propaganda, social engineering, keep the stiff upper lip sort of thing. But we've done far too much of that. We've done far too much of keeping calm and carrying on, because it's not helped us at all. It's obviously our government and the establishment, they want us to keep calm and carry on. They don't want us to look back in anger, because if we do that, if we ignore the problems and we sweep them under the carpet, they don't have to deal with them. It's far easier for them to tell us to keep calm and not look back in anger than to deal with the grooming gang situation, than to deal with the cause of the grooming gang situation. I think this country could stand to get a bit angrier and less calmer in the situation we're in at the minute. And it's true what they say. You know, the people shouldn't fear the government should fear the people. And that hasn't been in play for a very long time. And look what's happened. They're getting away with murder because they don't fear the people anymore. They don't. We become benign. We become subservient to the state. And that's what they want. So let's have a look at some of the chat. Vin is a robot, yeah. I don't exist, apparently. Well, according to Nigel Farage, I'm an Indian bot, so there you go. But yeah, that's what I feel on things. And you know, while on the subject, let's have a good rant. Let's have a good rant. Let's get it all about the system. Let's have a good old rant about things, the state of the country and stuff. Is anybody else in the chat sick and tired of this wishy-washy centre-right politics? I'm tired of it. You know, am I the only person that believes that we truly need a right-wing party? And I don't mean, because I think that's where Ben Habib's party is going to go. I think it's going to be on the same course as Reform. It's going to be another centre-right party. And we don't need another centre-right party. We need a hard right-wing party. I don't mean far-right. I mean firmly on the right wing of politics, that is going to go into Parliament like a wrecking ball and basically bring the system down. The system needs to be brought down, because I see all these people that they're all these talking heads, all these political commentators, and they all seem to think that they can fix the system, that they can go into government and fix the system. The thing is, it's not about the parties that we put into Parliament, because they've got no power whatsoever. We know who really controls everything in this country. It's the unelected bureaucrats behind the scenes in Whitehall, isn't it? It's a civil service. So you need your 18. We don't need middle ground people going into government. We need warrior MPs to go into Parliament. Warrior MPs that aren't going to be friends with our enemies. They're not going to be friends with Keir Starmer. They're not going to be friends with the opposite side. They're going to go in and like hold these people to account and say, what the hell have you done to this country? That's what we want. That's what we need. And Nigel Farage isn't that person. And talking of Nigel Farage, right, look at this. Anybody still following the Reform Party, why? Right, Nigel Farage says he is more left-wing than the general public on immigration. No shit. No shit. Anybody supporting the Reform Party expecting hard lines on immigration and illegal immigration, forget it. Absolutely forget it. I said this on X the other day. Reform have become what they've absorbed. And what have they absorbed? Since they've got into government, they've absorbed all the Tory wets by the bucket load. They've absorbed Labour, they've absorbed Liberal Democrats, and the party has become what it's absorbed. They've even got an Islamist, in my opinion, as chairman, Zai Youssef. Weak, absolutely weak. If anybody thinks that Nigel Farage is going to go into government and change anything, think again. They are the Tory Party 2.0. They're the Tory Wets 2.0. That's it, Steve. You are what you eat. What you means you're what? Yeah, exactly. They've absorbed Labour councillors. They've absorbed Tory councillors. They've got, what is it? Defectors from all parties sitting in Parliament. You've got Sarah Pochin. She's defected from parties from the extreme left to now being in Reform. You've got Lee Anderson, who was Labour. He actually campaigned to get Jeremy Corbyn in as Prime Minister. So that says everything you need to know about that guy. He's just saving his career, isn't he? We've got Richard Tice. He was a Tory wannabe, but they rejected him, obviously because he's got no charisma. And then you've got Nigel Farage, who's always been on the outside of the establishment. They've always looked down their nose at him as like something that they stepped in. He's always tried to get onto the inside of the establishment. And this is what all this is. This is what the Reform Party is. This is about Nigel Farage getting revenge on the establishment, on the Tories that, you know, look down their nose at him. That's all it is. Nothing is going to change. I'm no tough guy, but the attack on the traditional strong men and masculinity has turned the country into pussies, not just the UK. But we had more strong guys, this wouldn't happen. Exactly. So yeah, I'm sick and tired of the centre-right politics. You know, you've got the what are they expecting to do? Right, what are they expecting? What are centre-right parties expecting to do when you've got a hard left opposition? What are they expecting to achieve? You go to the middle to get run over, don't you? Farage is part of the establishment. British politics is nothing more than theatre. Totally agree. And yet we've got people getting behind these parties, expecting everything to change. Right? It's nothing to do with the parties. It's, you know, you need a party that is hard right at the minute. You need a party for the time that you're living in. Nigel Farage and his Reform Party is pre-1997, before Tony Blair got into power. They've been taken out of time. They're in the wrong era of politics. They really are. They're not going to solve anything. You need a solid right-wing party that's hard on everything, that is going to go in there, that's going to be tough on immigration and illegal immigration, that's going to be tough on all this stuff from day one. And if the civil service give them any shit, you need this hardline right party to immediately say, you don't do your job, you're getting sacked. That's what we need. And do you really think that any of the parties that are coming forward at the minute have the ability to do that? Right, so Ben Habib's party has come out. He's not going to be in Parliament in 2029. He's not. He's simply not. If anything happens now, if they split and divide the vote between them, Reform and Advance UK, they're going to allow Labour back in again, aren't they? That's what's going to happen. Unless the Reform Party completely folds and Advance garners all their support. And I'm not saying that won't happen. It could happen. We're, 4 years away from the general election. But say it happens tomorrow. Say that Starmer's government collapses tomorrow. Do you really think there are any parties in any position to go into a general election and win it? We're going to end up with a coalition government. That's what we're going to end up with. I think that's more likely to happen, actually. I don't think Starmer's government has got 4 years in it. I don't. I think they're going to F the country up so much that they're going to have to call an early general election, because they're not going to be able to run it. We're so close to being bankrupt. I don't think people realise how close the country is to bankruptcy. I was watching I can't remember what podcast it was now. I was watching them. There was lots of financial guys talking, and they were saying our national debt now exceeds more than the country actually makes. Or is it the way they put it, the repayments for the debt we're in now exceed the amount the country actually makes? So we're in real trouble. This country is going down the shitter really, really fast. The thing is, that's quite right, actually. I know it's metaphorical, winter is coming, but that's going to be the one that breaks Starmer's back, because it's warm at the minute. People really aren't having the heating on. They're not using much energy at the minute. it's not really hitting people as hard yet. As soon as winter comes, all those price hikes that came in when people had the heating on in the winter and their bills are astronomical, that's going to break the camel's back, because you're going to have astronomical bills, heating bills, energy bills, and then we've got this ever-increasing cost of living crisis, because that's not been solved. That's still ongoing. Nobody talks about it, but we've still got a cost of living crisis. Food prices are extortionate now, absolutely extortionate. On average, we used to probably spend a month, would have been, before COVID and all that rubbish, would have been about 200 quid a month. That's what we would have spent. That's jumped to about 400 or 500 now because of inflation. Food prices have gone through the roof. So the breaking point for this country is going to be winter. It really is. See what the comments are saying. The United Kingdom will become a blend of Iran, South African in one. Yes, that's the way we're heading. I mean, London already is, isn't it? London, Bradford, Leicestershire, all the places of high immigration are just lost. They're gone. They're never coming back. You couldn't put a government in power now that could actually reverse this, unless it's a hard right party that is literally going to say, we're going to have to deport loads of people. We're going to have to revoke citizenship and deport loads of people that have come. And I'm not talking like third or fourth generation immigrants that have been here years. I'm talking about people that have been given citizenship recently, in probably the last couple of years. They're going to have those citizenship revoked, and they're going to have to be kicked out of the country because our infrastructure simply can't cope with it. It can't. You look at Manchester. Look at Manchester. Charlie Veach. Did everybody watch Charlie Veach's video where he was making a video and he literally had basically a riot? I think he's become a victim of his own fame now. Unfortunately, Charlie Veach. Hey Enoch, I've not seen you in ages, mate. Without mass deportations, the demographics are irreversible. Exactly. We aren't going to breed our way out of this. Simply not. With birth rates declining, it's going to have to be mass deportations. And this gentleman on the screen here, Nigel Farage, he just hasn't got the stomach for it. I don't believe Generic either. I don't trust Generic at all. He'll just say what people want to hear. He's like Farage. Anything from the old establishment, you can't trust it. Anything born from the old establishment, you can't trust it. I'm sorry to say it, but this is just my opinion on this, right? The old way of doing things needs to go. So you've got Rupert Lowe, you've got Ben Habib with these parties, but they're very much the old style parties that think they can work within the system to change it. And it's naivety, because the system is broken beyond repair. The system is designed to stop people like them coming in and changing anything. That's what it's set up to do. It's set up to keep the status quo. It's not designed to be changed anymore. Tony Blair saw to that when he changed everything around. He messed about with our constitution and all sorts and that sort of thing. The only thing we can do now is there are three things that need to happen for a party that gets into government. They need to take on the civil service. The first thing they've got to do is tackle the civil service and just get rid of them. Get rid of the civil service. Because we know there's an Islamist cabal running the civil service. It's just infiltrated. It's infiltrated and it's not fit for purpose anymore. Like most of our institutions aren't fit for purpose. I saw today the Royal Navy doing YMCA at a Pride event. Our armed forces are a joke. Our police are a joke. Our school system is not. It's not for education anymore. It's indoctrination. into far left. My daughter at the minute, she's getting taught about pronouns, and I have to like inoculate her against wokeism and say there are only two sexes, there are only two genders, male and female. The High Court has said that. Anybody starts trying to give you pronouns or anything like that, you ignore it. You say, I don't have pronouns. It's crazy. It made me cringe. Well, I think it was a few years back now when I saw, I think was it Royal Marine Commandos walking around in red high heels. I think the police were doing it as well, as some kind of diversity bollocks. And it was like, Jesus Christ, is this how far we've actually come? Is this how far we've actually fallen? I was thinking about making a video about this. Right. So in society, I was thinking about this was on my morning walk this morning. So in society, you generally don't want ideologies that promote hurting of people. Do you? You don't want those sort of ideologies in your society because they're bad for your society and they should be purged. So Islamism needs to be purged from our society. It really does. It promotes violence against our people. It's a superiority type thing, and this is Islam as general. Islam in general, it thinks it's superior to everybody else. It dominates wherever it goes. It sees non-believers or non-Muslims as inferior, and that ideology has no place in a modern first world secular society. It doesn't. It's not compatible. We've known this for decades, that Islam is simply not compatible with our way of life. And like, I can't remember what it was, someone was saying, majority of Muslims are non-practicing. They're the ones that people call moderate Muslims. Well, they're not really moderate Muslims. They're just non-practicing Muslims. They're like most non-practicing Christians that celebrate Christmas, but they don't go to church. Those are the moderate Muslims, the non-practicing ones. The practicing Muslims, there are no moderates amongst those people. I remember a few years back, I'm talking probably 2010, when a report was done, and they were asking the Muslim community their beliefs, and I think it was something. Was it something like 5 out of 10 of them believed in some sort of punishment for gay people? They believed that they should be in prison at the very least. A lot of them believed in death for apostasy, which is leaving Islam. If you leave Islam, they believe, yeah, if you leave Islam, you should be killed. A vast majority believe that you should be killed if you leave Islam. That type of thinking simply isn't compatible with our way of life. That sort of thinking is completely alien to the British way of life. It really is. Let's have a look, see what the. Do you think they offered Charles a place in the New World? Why? Right, King Charles, if you want to call him that. As far as I'm concerned about the monarchy should have died with the Queen. We didn't need a monarchy anymore. We definitely don't need this idiot king. He's a traitor to our country, and we should just not have him. We shouldn't have them anymore. Really shouldn't. The Queen was useful because she was head of the state and she was diplomatic, the Queen. Whereas Charles is a woke World Economic Forum puppet stooge, just like Starmer. As I've always said, the concept of moderation is absurd as a concept of, yep. UKIP Need to feel less time to get rid of the pound sign and act like, no, Jack, we've been through this a lot of times. It can't call itself the British National Party because we've already had that and it didn't go down too well. So it's over 60% today. That being gay should be illegal or at least jailable. Yeah, I know it's a lot of people, and obviously that percentage has grown because the Muslims have grown in number and they've got more radical as they've grown. I mean, you've got to look at the majority of mosques. They're not exactly moderate in what they teach. They have hate speakers in there, basically saying all kinds of stupid shit. I don't think there's right. I'm just going to say I don't think there's a political solution out of this. I really don't. People are saying that the next general election is our last chance to save the country. We had it. The last chance to save the country was the last general election. It really was. In 4 years, this country will be unrecognisable, especially with Labour in power. Even if Starmer does quit, I don't think the Labour Party is going to collapse straight away. I think Rayner's going to take over, and she's going to be hard left on everything, and she's going to destroy the country. I think we'll see an end to Rachel Reeves. I don't think she's going to last more as Chancellor. I think she'll be gone soon. She'll be gone. Rachel Reeves will be. Either Angela Rayner or Wes Streeting will take over as PM at some point. That's what I see happening. And then once they get in charge, the country will just spiral quickly. That's what I predict anyway. It's on that trajectory. There is no way of getting out of it. With Labour in charge of the country, this country is going down the shitter. There's no getting away from that. They're not going to save it. If anything, they're accelerating everything that the Tories did wrong. Hum's useless. Refused to speak against gays and did interview. He refused to answer and told the guy to move on to the next question. Yep. We all know it. And like I said, we are going to get our country back. We are going to get it back. By how that happens, we'll have to see. I think a political solution is off the table. I think the country will collapse and then civil war will kick off. That's what I think will happen. I don't think there's any avoiding it at this point. Labour plans to bankrupt the country and sell it off to BlackRock. Now, what I think they'll do, I think they'll deliberately tank the country, and then they'll say, well, to bring us back from the brink, we've got to bring in digital ID. We've got to bring in universal basic income to give people money back in their pockets to get the economy running. That's what they'll do. They'll destroy the country, and this will be the excuse to bring in all these new measures. It's been the plan. People think it's incompetence with the Labour Party. It's not. Ever since Tony Blair set us on this trajectory, everything has been planned. This has been planned down to even the pandemic. The pandemic was thrown in there to bring in even tougher restrictions, to break our hospitality industry, to break the back of the hospitality industry. They needed to do that. You look at all the pubs and clubs and restaurants in towns and city centres. They're declining. People don't have the money to go out on a Saturday night anymore because it's come down to putting food and heating your houses. There's no way out of this. I think that the country's already screwed. I think even if you did get a good party into Parliament, they'd be just lost in the bureaucracy. They'd be tied up in litigation by the civil service, who would fight them at every single move. And that's why Reform aren't going to do anything, because they're not strong enough. They haven't even got the will to do it. People say they're controlled opposition. They are. They're containment. So even if they did get in government, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do what you want. A lot of people will be disappointed with a Reform government. They really will be. They'll be controlled opposition. I mean, look at that. You've only got to look on the screen right now. Nigel Farage says he's more left wing than general public on migration. That should tell you everything you need to know. That has dominated politics for the last few decades. What have the people of this country wanted? We've wanted to take back control of our borders, to be tough on immigration and illegal immigration. And the person who says he's going to reform the country is now telling you he's going to be soft on it. Why vote for them? Why support them? His ticker is, that ticker he's so proud of, his subscriber ticker. That's rolling back like a speedometer now. I think he's lost at least 4,000 subscribers in the last month alone. People are seeing through him now. They're seeing through the Reform Party. They can't even keep their MPs because Nigel Farage is obsessed about keeping power at the top with him. Anybody steps out of line, what was his name? Oh, God. James Murdoch, what is that his name? Just because he offered Rupert Lowe support with his grooming gang inquiry, no, you're out of the party. And you're telling me that it wasn't the Reform Party that leaked that to the press? No, you know what? I think everybody's more important than the House of Commons. The House of Commons is just an absolute pantomime. Yeah, I'm not trying to defend Nigel Farage, but I watched the video of him today trying to ask the Prime Minister a question, and they had no respect. They were just heckling him in Parliament, and they wouldn't let him speak. And the Speaker of the House didn't stop them. Didn't stop them from doing it. The whole thing is a shit show. And, this is televised. People can watch this. The general public can watch this every day. And people wonder why everybody's losing faith in the political system. They switch that on and they see what an absolute playground shit show it is. And they think, why am I voting for this? Why do I vote? Why do I waste my time and go and vote for these people? You can't blame them. I'm disillusioned with the whole process. I'm disillusioned with it. We've got two MPs out of 650 that are worth anything in Parliament now. James Murdoch and Rupert Lowe, and that's it. The rest of them are bought and paid for. They're big business shills. That's all they are. Big business shills. They don't care about you. They don't care about any of us. As long as the taxpayer money keeps flowing into the government and they're getting paid out of taxpayer money, they've got their expenses where they'll never want for anything in their life. As long as they've got that, they don't give a crap about us. They don't care. They don't care. To us, to them, we're just a number. We're just like replaceable numbers. Work us till we die, milk of us all our money, and then once we die, replace us. That's it. That's all we are to these people. They don't even see us as human beings anymore. We're just something that, keeps them in the life of luxury. That's what it is. They don't care about us. That's the whole point there. poking the bear until it strikes back, and then they have the white extremist bogeyman to point at and prove them right. Exactly. It won't make a difference in a bit though, Enoch, because they'll push too hard. Something will happen. I agree with Charlie Veitch when he said, because he got asked a question, I think it was Liam Tufts, asked him in his interview with him, said, how far away are we from civil war? And he says, we're just a day away. We're just one more atrocity away, one more Islamic attack away from this whole country igniting. Yeah, they want civil war, but they need to be careful what they wish for, because it won't be what they think. They mistakenly think that they will be able to control it. It's like these are the same people that believe they could win a nuclear war. This is how deranged they are. These are the same people who think they can win a nuclear war. Being nice is a weapon. I think we've been nice for way too long. And like I said, I'm tired of all the centre-right politics. We've had centre-right politics for decades. It's not done us any favours, has it? It's not delivered anything new at all. Everything's just stayed the same, because those 649 people, well, 648 people, they all look after themselves. They'll all turn up for the debate on should they get a pay rise, because they all get to vote to give themselves a pay rise, which I don't think they should. I think it should be an independent body made up of the public that decides whether they get a pay rise or not. That would be another way to hold them to account. It's like, if you don't hold up to your manifesto promises when you get in government, you ain't getting a pay rise. In fact, we'll go further. We'll reduce your pay if you're not doing a good job. It should be like any other job, that if you don't, it should be performance based. That if you're not performing well, or your approval rating goes down below 50%, you start to lose your wages. That's what it should be. Money talks with these people. If they thought they were going to lose their wages if they didn't perform properly, they'd do their job. That's how I think it should be done anyway. It should be an independent body that awards them their pay rise. It wouldn't matter, Enoch. It wouldn't matter. They could declare civil war all they want. It would just be all-out war then. It would. I don't know if do you live in the UK? I think you don't live. I think you live in Australia, don't you? You really don't know the tension on the street, mate. The tension on the street at the minute in the UK is at breaking point. It's ready to ignite properly. We've had this David Betts. He was predicting, it's going to be within the next 4 or 5 years. He was doing another interview the other day, and he's saying, "Oh no, we're in civil war now." And people think it's going to be patriots that kick it all off. It's going to be patriots against the government. It's not. That's not going to be the civil war. The people who are going to kick off the civil war are going to be the far left. They've already started it. They've already done it. It started with the assault on the Bryce Norton airbase, where they went in and spray painted the planes. That's when you start to see it. It'll escalate from there. That they'll get emboldened by that. They'll be emboldened by it, knowing that they bragged about it. Next time they do it, they'll do something a little bit more dramatic. Maybe they'll just set fire to a plane or something like that. Then the next time, it's going to be a bomb. They'll go too far. They will. The tension is really high. At this point, it could come from anywhere. Anything could happen to kick off the country. Now, if we had another incident of another Southport incident, that would be it, I think. And then we're in scary times, because we're talking about the collapse of society, the collapse of government, and like you said, martial law. You'd have in British and English insurgents attacking other groups of ethnics. It would just all ignite. and it wouldn't be pretty. It wouldn't be too. We're not talking Roundheads and Cavaliers type civil war. We're talking insurgencies, hit and run type warfare. And the left and Antifa have hostile recce with all these dumb twats ordering Deliveroo. Yeah. Islam has to be quiet. I wonder why. Controlled terror. If it kicks off in this country, the police won't be able to cope. They wouldn't be able to cope. They'd probably contain it for a couple of weeks. But after that, they'd be overwhelmed. Steve will probably know better than I will. How many active police officers do we have in the country, Steve? Do you know how many people have died in civil war, similar to the Butchers Bill in the US? Go on, tell me. I'd like to know how many serving police officers we have at the minute, though. How many actual police officers do we have? I mean, they keep saying that they're short of resources, but they seem to be in their, in their element when they're turning up for pride marches and stuff like that, don't they? Or they've got enough resources to send 7 police officers round to arrest a pianist and his wife for hurty words. Oh, Enoch. They're a joke. I saw 2 of them walking around the town centre the other day, and they were like, I don't know. Hang on. Steve's coming up with the number. I have no idea, but London is around 40k, so probably double that for the rest of the country. So you're talking 120,000 police officers. They'd be overwhelmed. They would be overwhelmed if this country kicked off. They struggle to police marches. So look, 4'1" women in the police, exactly, and you'll see them getting defended. That's even worse, that really, isn't it? No, around 80 to 100k police officers in the country, policing a country of nearly 70 million people. So they wouldn't be able to contain any type of mass civil war. They simply wouldn't be able to do it. Starmer would most likely bring in the army, but they're stretched all over the world with obligations. Martial law probably wouldn't last. They could bring in martial law, but people wouldn't obey it, and they wouldn't be able to police it because they don't have enough police officers to police martial law. They could probably put up their air assets. They could probably use drones and stuff like that. But we are heading for very dangerous times in this country. We're on shaky ground, really shaky ground at the minute with everything. They have weapons. How can you even hear? They have weapons now that can't even hear, that make you deaf. Yeah, you're talking about the sonic wave. Is it ultrasound? They send ultrasonic waves out, and it makes people feel sick. Over 10,000 left army. Never thought I'd be alive to see this. This has been coming for well over 50 years. It's not. This hasn't just happened. This is just the accumulation of everything that's gone on for the last 5 decades. Yes, in situations where it's credible, the immediate threat to life, police officers in the UK are authorised to wear protective equipment. So the normal ones without it can't get involved. Exactly. You want them off the screen. There they go, mate. Off they go. I left the plot 45 years ago because of this. A lot of people have left the police force. A lot of people have left the army, the armed forces, because of woke nonsense that's taken over. It's not what it used to be. Remember when all you needed was one strapping 6'2" cop patrolling the neighbourhood and everyone behaved exactly? That's because people respected them. People had respect. I did in the 80s when I was growing up, 70s and 80s when I was growing up. We had local police house. We had a police house with a local policeman in it, and he patrolled the neighbourhood. That was his job. But Steve will tell you they stopped all that. They stopped street patrols. They stopped foot patrols, and that's where everything started to go wrong. Because the police aren't just there to enforce the law; they're to be a deterrent as well. If you see police officers walking around the neighbourhood constantly, it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent to crime. People feel safer with seeing them. But the police force now isn't what it was back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's not. It's become politicized. It's a political force now. And go and watch Liam Tuff's interview with an ex-police officer. It's on his channel. You just have to go and look for it. And he was saying, yeah, if you're not woke, you don't go anywhere in the police force. You've got to go with the politics of the police and be woke. And if you're woke, then you will go far in the police force. If you're not, you won't. And like I said, all these institutions, they're set up now to prevent anybody getting to the top positions and changing them back. The far left ideology has taken over everything. It's taken over colleges, universities. And it's not that they have loads and loads of people. They just have a minority in key positions. That's how they've done it. It's like chess. They've moved their pieces around the board, and now they've got society in a checkmate position. That's how they did it. If you put one person at the head of the NHS who's woke, then the whole NHS is woke. If you put somebody in the head of the police force that's woke, now the whole police force is woke. Same with the army, same with the navy, same with the air force, same with colleges and universities. That's how they did it. And when they did it, they pulled the ladder up behind them. So nobody could step into those positions ever again that was right wing. If you're right wing and you're in, say, the school system, you keep your head down. You don't tell people you're right wing because you most likely lose your job. You'll be forced out of the job. They'll find some excuse to get rid of you. That's how they managed to do it. The complete takeover of all of our institutions. Parliament is the same way. Exactly. The long march through the institutions, been in the works for 50. Yeah, exactly. They've been patient. This has been going on for decades. Absolutely decades. In this country, it started with us joining the EEC because that was the building blocks to bring us into the EU. It's crazy times we live in. It really is. Worrying times. Anyway, right. So I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. Right. So apparently Danny Roscoe and Paul Thorpe are going to have a debate on it, or a chat on his channel. They're going to do a live stream together. So that's going to be interesting. Apparently Paul Thorpe wants the right to reply to Danny Roscoe's video that he did, his live stream, where he analysed Paul Thorpe's video. So that's on the cards. That's going to happen. That'll be something interesting to watch. If anything, it'll be an interesting discussion. And I know Danny will be tough. He'll ask tough questions. Hey, guy, how you doing? I'm just it's going that fast. I can't get people on. Lots of things lots of things make no sense. Like, why can't plane door open when in the air? So in the event of a crash, people can jump out without parachutes. I think that, yeah, yeah. Paul can do one. Certain departments in the Home Office are corrupt. Example, a chap not of these shores working in the Home Office was receiving money to push through failed asylum seekers' applications. It's disgusting, yeah. Definitely. Yeah, security. I think people don't realise that if you're, was it 30,000 feet, if you jump out of a plane with a parachute, you're probably going to suffocate before you hit the ground because of low oxygen. If a plane, this is just me going on stuff that I heard, right? If a plane suffers a catastrophic failure of one of its doors that depressurizes, it has to, it has to get down to at least 5,000 feet, something like that. That's what they do anyway, apparently. Because so people can actually breathe inside the aeroplane. Yeah, Steve, that's what I was talking about earlier. There are 1,000 civil service Muslim network in the Home Office. And do you really think that Nigel Farage, the Islam appeaser, is going to go into government and tackle that with Zaya Yusuf at the helm? Because let's face it, Zaya Yusuf is still chairman of the Reform Party. David Bull is just the puppet face chairman, but behind the scenes, Zaya Yusuf is the one pulling all the strings. So nothing's going to change. The Reform Party is a dud. And people have been saying this, he's going to do exactly the same thing he did with UKIP and the Brexit Party. He's going to get close to the election. People are going to be all in for reform, and then he'll pull the plug. Something will happen, and he'll collapse the Reform Party, and he'll allow the destruction of the country to continue. That's his plan. That's what I think is going to happen. You can jump from a plane as the special forces do in Halo Jump. Yeah, but they have oxygen tanks on. They have a mask and an oxygen tank. That's from about 30,000 feet. If you jump out of a plane at 30,000 feet without any oxygen, you're going to suffocate and freeze. If something will happen historically, he's not a finisher. No, and he's already said. I mean, look at the guy who was doing the documentary about him. He doesn't even want to be prime minister. So we've got a guy in charge of a party who says he's going to reform the country, but doesn't want to be prime minister. He won't say for definite if he wants to be Prime Minister. So that says to me that he's going to be Prime Minister. He's going to step aside and allow Zai Yusuf to take over leadership of the Reform Party, because they're the only two in control. They're the only two with controlling shares in what is Reform UK 2025, which is a company. They didn't dissolve those shares. They didn't dissolve the shares and hand the company over to the subscribers and make them members. That never happened, because Nigel Farage is afraid that he'll get replaced as leader. So him and Zai Yusuf have centralised power around themselves at the top, so they can't be removed. And you seriously want to vote a party like that into power, where the membership has no control, who's leader of the party, has no say in who's a candidate for council elections or parliamentary elections? That's all down to Zai Yusuf and Nigel Farage. And people are okay with that. They're okay with handing over 25 quid a year and have no say in what happens within the party. They must be crazy. I'm worried about my gay granddaughter and my two little great granddaughters, not so much for myself. Yeah, because when they take over, because they will, because look at all the independent Muslim parties that are coming up now. Labour think they've got the Muslim vote in the bag. They haven't. At the next general election, now we've got independent Muslim parties. The Muslims are going to vote for them, not Labour. Labour are going to be non-existent, just like the Tories. After the next general election, they're just going to be completely wiped from history. And then you'll see the rise of the Islamic parties. That's what's going to happen. And Nigel Farage and crew aren't going to do anything about it. He said it in interviews. We can't ignore the Muslim vote. If we do, we'll lose. We'll lose. He's already flying the white flag, Nigel Farage. He's already surrendered. And why the hell would we want a leader like that in number 10? Can you imagine that? With in 1930s, and we had Chamberlain in charge, waving the white flag, saying, "Oh, we can't win this war. We'll just capitulate. We'll just lie down and play dead, and let the Nazis invade us because we can't win." That's what Nigel Farage would have been doing. We can't win this. We can't ignore the Nazi force. We're going to lose if we do. That's what he would have been like. He's an appeaser, he's weak, and we don't want him as leader of this country. The Islamist activists are going to wipe out Labour. I have 2 ex-Labour Muslim councillors in my city, and they are rampant. Exactly. They take over the cities first, they grow in number in the cities, they take over the local councils. That's how they do it. They do it without a shot being fired. It's exactly the same thing they did in Iran, isn't it? The Islamists and the lefties, the communists, they formed an unholy alliance, and then once the Islamists had control of Iran, they killed all the communists. Why is he like this? It's cowardice. Nigel Farage. Money. He's greedy. He's just in it for the money and the fame. He likes the run-up to being Prime Minister, but he doesn't want to do the job because he's getting a lot of attention. You know, it must really stroke his ego to watch the polls where every poll is saying that he's going to be Prime Minister of the country. Don't forget he's a narcissist. So he's getting constant narcissistic supply from everywhere. He loves it, but he doesn't want to do the big job. He hasn't got it in him to do the job itself. That's why he's scared. So at some point along the line, before the next general election, he's going to quit. He's going to walk away. That's what's going to happen. Farage has no interest at all in saving the country from mass immigration, Islamification. No, he doesn't. So what's the point in voting for him? That's something I'd ask all these Reform voters now. What is the point in voting for Nigel Farage now, the Reform Party? They keep saying they're going to save the country, but point to me how they're going to save the country. Where's the policy? Where's the policy to save this country? They bang on and on about net zero. Nobody gives a shit about net zero. It's irrelevant. They come in with this like net zero immigration, which is rubbish, one in, one out. And I said this on Twitter today. I said I'd go further. I would have thousands out and none in. We need a complete ban on immigration. We need tough measures against illegal immigration. Stop all the benefits. Put a effing big battleship in the English Channel to turn them around, just like Australia did. Australia kept turning them around and sending them back. And they stopped coming because they realised they couldn't get in. There needs to be a policy that states if you enter this country illegally, you will not be granted asylum. You will be instantly deported. And that's not an unreasonable thing to do. Most countries, if you enter the country illegally, you get put in prison and then you're deported after your prison sentence. Nothing about human rights in that. When you enter a country illegally, you're entering it and you're committing a crime. Look at all the patriots at the minute in Poland that are on the border with Germany, stopping all the illegal immigrants coming in. That's the patriots of the country. They're down at the border, they're lining it, and they're saying, if you come in here illegally, you're going to get a kicking. You're going to get a kicking. Obviously, for certain reasons, I can't advocate for that on here because I'm on YouTube, but you can read between the lines in what I'm saying about what should happen. By the way, I put a comment on Paul Thorpe's latest video today, and one of his disciples jumped down my throat. I have nothing against him, but no matter how you cut it, he's left the UK. Exactly. Right, I'm glad you brought this up, Cockmeister, right? Because this is my biggest gripe. He made a video today saying, does it really make a difference that I'm in Spain? Now, to me, it doesn't, all right? If he hadn't have made that video way back when, last year, saying, I'm not going anywhere, I'm standing with the patriots of this country, I'm going to fight for this country, I'm going nowhere, I wouldn't have cared if he'd have gone to Spain. I wouldn't have cared, because fair enough, you're getting your family out of strife, you get them out of here, good on you, I don't blame you. But he did make that video. And so what right has he to demand of anybody still in this country to get behind Advanced UK and vote for them? You know, he said in his videos, I'm not trying to tell people what to do. Well, in that video, yes, he is. He's trying to tell people what to do. He's telling people that they should get behind Advanced UK. And Advanced UK may go from strength to strength, but it is just another party. And I've lost faith in parties. But it doesn't exactly make a strong case when you've left the country and you're telling people that are still in the country how they should act. I think there's a better way to make the video than he did, because he more or less said that if Advanced UK don't reach 100k members by the end of the week, then it's everybody's fault for not getting behind them. And it's like, it doesn't take in consideration that maybe people don't actually follow Advanced UK. They've got different politics. He was talking about YouTube commentators, political commentators. Many of them remain neutral. They don't want to get behind one particular party because they're neutral, because they want to comment on politics as a whole in an unbiased way. So no, they're not going to come out and get behind one party over another. They're not going to do that. But he doesn't seem to understand that. He doesn't understand that. It was saying that where are the people that are making 4 or 5 videos a day about the state of the country. Now, I thought that was having a dig at me, but he could have been talking about anybody. Lots of people make 4 or 5 videos a day about the state of the country. But not everybody shares the same politics. That's obvious. Look how fractured the right wing is. It's fractured. Completely fractured. And that's another thing as well, because his followers, that they came to some of my videos and they said, why are you criticizing him? It's like, he's on the internet. He's a public figure. He made a video addressing right-wing YouTubers. I'm a right-wing YouTuber. So I'm just answering and looking at his video and critiquing his video because he addressed me and others. And they don't get that. Apparently, they can't differentiate between drama and criticism. Drama is when you go to somebody, you call them names, and you're just calling them out personally and not their arguments. I didn't do any of that. I just dealt with his actual arguments that he put in his video. I didn't go after him personally or anything like that. There's no drama about it whatsoever. I didn't name call him or anything like that. I just addressed the points he made in his video. And people can't differentiate between drama and criticism and debate. Thought popped out of nowhere, made a lot of money, and exactly right. He admits himself he's only been doing this a year. He only came into the politics side thing a year ago. Many of us have been doing this for years. I've been on YouTube, in different incarnations, going on 19 years. I've had different channels because it was a different time then. I had the Islamists flagging down my videos, flagging down my channels. I was coming back, I was having hiatus, and I'd come back again with another channel. You know, I didn't sugarcoat anything, even back then. I didn't, tiptoe around subjects just so I could keep my channel. I risked everything. Lots of us did. Lots of us did back then. We weren't bothered. If we lost our channel, we lost our channel, but we'd come back, we'd start making the videos again. That's how we used to be. And then when, obviously, YouTube brought the monetization side of things in, people got scared about losing their channel. And I understand that. I get that. You've turned your channel into your business. I get that. So now you've got to be a little bit more careful in what you say. But for activists, yeah, that's not a good thing. If you're an activist, you've got to be willing to risk everything and lose everything for your beliefs. You really have. He talks about he talks about risk to his family, and I get that. But a lot of us get that. I mean, I get death threats on a daily basis. I've got a psycho nut job out there trying to find me. I've got the far left out there trying to find where I live. Why? Of course I worry about my family and stuff, but they're behind me. They said, yeah, you've got to do what you've got to do. You can't stop doing what you're doing. So, yeah. Thing living rent-free in Thorpe's head. That he has commented on my videos. I think he knows about my existence. I kind of, it made me a bit weary of them because, how do I say this? I got the impression, right, because they were talking about me in a live stream in a roundabout way, I believe. I was reading between the lines. And they were saying, "Oh yeah, we've got some of these right wing far right nutters." And at the time, I had it probably didn't help my case because they must have looked at my Twitter. I had a skull with 2 wings coming out either end, and that was one of the designs I had on my uniform in Iraq. I think they probably thought, "Oh God, he's a Nazi, he's a far right nutter." No, not in the least. And I think they thought that's what I was, because I'm right wing. I'm not centre right at all. I'm proper right wing. And I don't believe in any of that wishy-washy, centrist politics bullshit, because it's gotten us nowhere. Look at how the reform drifted off to the centre, and look what happened to it. It got taken over, and now it's irrelevant. It's got no power. It's weak. Look what's happened to it. When you drift to the centre ground, that's where you go to die as a political party in this era. That might have been all right for the 90s, 80s and 90s, being a centrist, centre ground. Political landscape's completely changed in this country. It really has. Look at Europe. Europe is being swept by hard right political parties because they've realised they need hard right parties to counter the hard left nut jobs, communist nut jobs that are in their governments. And yet here we are in this country, we're still talking about the centre ground like it's relevant. It's not relevant. It's not relevant anymore, the centre ground. That's where you go to die. That's the kill zone, as far as I'm concerned. Either side, the right wing and the left wing, that's the high ground. That's the ground you need to take. But these people don't understand that. Now, we're going to save the country. We're going to go into the kill zone. That's where we're going to save the country. Yeah. You only go to the centre to compromise. And we don't have anybody on the opposite to compromise with. It's a hard left opposition. They're not going to compromise. So when you go to the middle ground and you're centre right, you compromise and they give you nothing back. You appease them. You become appeasers. And that's not what we need in this country right now. Did you hear about that, Steve? Apparently, armed officers have gone into Marie Le Pen's offices to remove electoral information. Armed officers. So basically, France is a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship. If you're a centre right party, you're going to do nothing. You're literally going to do nothing because you're not going to be strong enough to take on the people on the hard left. You're just not going to be able to do it. Most of the videos are laced with pity and being a victim. It's called sob and rob style, a form of parasocial content to play on people's goodwill. So they donate. It's become too much. Yeah. His latest video, he's kind of playing the victim in that one. I noticed that at the very beginning. He's saying, is it really relevant that I've moved to Spain? Yeah, it is. Especially when you're telling people that are still in this country what to do, because it makes your position less weak, less strong. It's weak. It's a weak position. It's like what I said in the critique video. It's like you're asking people to do what you're not willing to do yourself. Hey, Nix, I saw you in Danny Roscoe's chats, didn't I? Yeah, definitely. Look, I can tell you stuff, okay? I'm not surprised I saw the latest voting intentions, like 50% plus for Le Pen. Yeah, Macron is not popular at all. There's a thing called targeted individual. Read about it today. Very interesting. You get followed everywhere you go. Oh, okay. Vin, love you, man. Thank you. But yeah, you're not going to win anything from the middle ground. Not anymore. Not in this political landscape anymore. You're just not. Look how ineffective the Reform Party has become. What have they actually changed? What have they actually done since they've been in Parliament to change anything for the better in this country? Ask yourselves that question. 5 MPs. Have they actually done anything to benefit the people of this country just by being there? Or is it just a lot of hot air and promises that they've broken? I mean, look at Nigel Farage. We can just look at this because this just describes everything about the Reform Party, right? He makes a promise saying before the local elections, and this should have alerted everybody to what this person is like. He said, we're going to bring out a comprehensive strategy to mass deport all the illegal immigrants in this country. That's what he said. I've got my team. He said he's got my team on it now. Zayus is working on it. They're working on policy. It's going to be delivered sometime in May after the local elections. That should have been the red flag right there. It's like, well, why have you been working on that in the first place? And why can't you tell details about it now? Just give us something that they've been working on. Just give us some of the information that they've been working on that policy. And he couldn't do it. It was the carrot and the stick, wasn't it? It was like, here you are. The carrot is the immigration policy, the strategy for illegal immigration. And then after the May elections, nothing, no mention of it. And then obviously 2 months later, he does an interview and said, oh, mass deporting illegal immigrants is just an aspiration. So everything he said before the local elections was bullshit. It was just to get people to vote for the Reform Party in the local elections. That's all it was. We can't trust him. You cannot trust Nigel Farage. You cannot trust the Reform Party. Right, I think that's something we can all agree on. We can't agree on which of the smaller parties is the best party to vote for in the next general election. But I think everybody's united on the fact that that party is definitely not the Reform Party. Regardless what your politics is or what party you follow, I think we can all agree that the Reform Party is not the party to save this country. It isn't. Definitely not. Yeah, exactly. I am completely 100% disillusioned with the whole process of government. I am. I'm totally disillusioned with it. I firmly believe there is no political solution. There's no political way out of the mess this country's in. It's just too far gone. It really is. I don't like the path that sets. And you've got to think, right, if there's a general election tomorrow because Starmer's government collapses, which, let's face it, it could happen, which party is in the best position to get into government at the minute? Out of all the little parties, who could do it? If it happened tomorrow, it would be a hung parliament. And there'd be some kind of weird coalition as government, which wouldn't solve anything. It'd make things worse. I agree with you. I agree with you, Nix. Totally agree with you. Unity. I've been pushing for that. They need to unify. They need to have some kind of coalition, some kind of right-wing party summit where they all get together and they discuss how they're going to save the country. But even though I like Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib, I think there's a little bit of class snobbery still in there. Not a lot, but a little, with the way they see the smaller right-wing parties, because they're, some of them are quite working class. I think there's a little bit of snobbery in there. I do. It's the only weapon we have. Exactly right. I was pushing for this. What needs to happen is the farmers need to unite with the patriots. Farmers need to unite with the patriots. We're all in the same boat. They're losing their businesses. We're all losing our country. It happened in France. The farmers and the patriots got together. That needs to happen in this country. Let's have a look. I agree, Jamie. That's exactly right. The Chuckle Brothers would put all these parties to shame. They would. At least they're coordinated sometimes. I keep telling good you, Vin. Those that look down on the working class parties are scared to death of being labelled racist and unprofessional. Yes, that's it. That's what they're scared of. You know it, and I know it. And apparently, Tommy Robinson has invited Rupert Lowe to speak on stage at the Free Speech rally on September the 13th. We'll see what happens. That'll be quite telling. Just remember, back in the day, we had a Monster Raving Lubin party. You know what? They make more sense. I'd probably vote for them because they probably do a better job than any of the shower of shit that we have to vote for nowadays. The right need to unite under a national alliance banner. Exactly. That's exactly right. That's how I feel now. There needs to be. It's got to be a hard right nationalist party to take this country back now. None of this wishy-washy centre-right bollocks that has gotten us nowhere for the past 50 years. It hasn't. I think we're seeing the results of that now, of 50 years of centre-right, centre-left politics. This is what's happened to the country. It's like World War II, right? You need a government and a leader for the time. That's what you need. And we just don't have that at the minute. We don't have the right people leading parties to be that sort of leadership. Or we do have the right leaders, but they just don't have the support or the clout to do anything. But the time and the environment dictates the sort of politicians you need for the country when it's in crisis. We definitely don't need a centre-right party when you've got a completely hard left opposition. That's not doing the right thing. We can count out Farage. He's useless. Forget about him. A true right-wing nationalist party. That's what we need. And as soon as the election was over, the general election, and Nigel Farage had got into Parliament, got his 5 MPs in there, before the general election, he had the union flags either side of him saying, I'm going to fight for this country. I'm a warrior. As soon as the general election was over, those 2 union flags either side of him disappeared. They disappeared. It's all just an act. It's all just an act. It's all just a show. And that's what Parliament is. It's a pantomime. It's a pantomime for the politically illiterate. That's what Parliament is. Our Parliament now is no more a Parliament than the European Parliament is. The European Parliament is just a place where people go to. It's just a gravy train, isn't it? It's just a gravy train. It's just the illusion of democracy in the European Parliament, because it's the European Commission that has all the power. The unelected European Commission, where they choose themselves. And our Parliament's exactly the same. It's not the elected people, MPs, that run the country. It's the bureaucracy, it's the civil service, the unelected bureaucrats that run the country. I've actually bookmarked a speech. I might do a video about that. It's his speech when he goes to talk to Parliament, it's the speech where he tells them, was it for the sake of God, go? You know, that's that speech, wherever it is. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, it's a good one. Have you seen Active Patriot? Active Patriot is doing some great work, and I'd rather promote these people than any parties. Right, Active Patriot. He's in Calais at the minute. He was walking around in the dark looking for the launching spots for the illegal immigrant boats. That's what he's doing, and he got caught by the French police. So the French police found him, but they can't find the illegal immigrants that are launching. So yeah, I would suggest everybody go subscribe to Active Patriot. If he wants donations, donate to him, because these are causes that are actually doing something. I also promoted the Shield. It's a group of people. In fact, I'll do a screenshot. This might send the live shot. I'm going to promote these people because these are the people that need promoting. They really do. I'll try and bring up Twitter if it'll load. If my ancient laptop will allow me to do it. Here we go. Might take a few hours for that to load because I've opened up another tab. We need to have a video about Chris Hargreaves and Shield. Exactly, Steve. I'm going to do one of those. I'm going to promote him because he needs it. I'm tired of all the talk. I'm tired of all the political commentary. I'm tired of all these people saying, oh, donate to me, and all they do is talk. It's like, let's get behind people that are actually doing something, like the Shield, where they've set up a nationwide organisation to protect our women and children on the streets. That's something we can all get behind, isn't it? Donate to it. They're asking for volunteers. It's actually something you can do to stave off what's happening to our country. It really is. Get behind the people that are exposing what's going on in this country, not the people that are just talking about it. That's the sort of people we can get behind. Active Patriot and Little Veteran Nobby are absolute legends. They were down in Dover reporting on these boats years ago, way before Farage jumped on it. Yeah, totally agree. I remember Active Patriot being chased by Border Force on an e-scooter. Do you remember that one? That was amazing. He put his camera over the fence and was videoing all the illegals coming in, and obviously he's the criminal for filming them. So they chased after him. I think that's one of the first videos I watched of Active Patriot, actually. But yeah, these are the people we need to get behind. These are the unsung heroes, because these are the people that put the boots on the ground and go out there and they're actually exposing what's going on in this country. All the auditors that do the exposés on the migrant hotels, stuff like that, these are the people you can get behind. DJE Media, he does that. Charlie Veach, all these people that risk their lives. They're risking their lives. They're not just sat behind a computer talking about it from the safety of Spain. They're on the streets exposing it. They're the people that we should be getting behind in all of this. And hopefully, when I've built up my channel and stuff, that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm going to be doing. I want to be boots on the ground, exposing this stuff, because that's how best I can use my skills. Exactly. Billy Moore as well. All those people that go out there, boots on the ground, risking it all to expose everything in this country. Nothing but respect for people like that. Nick Tenconi went out to Calais as well. Paul Golding also went out to Calais to expose the NGOs and the illegal immigrants. They've gone up to the super mosque in the Lake District. They've campaigned, they've stood outside it, they've, brought attention to that. That's what we need more of. People like that. Talking's good, talking about it, raising awareness is good. But we also need the boots on the ground as well. Right, so I'll look see if I can get this Shield thing up. I'll try and post a link to it in the thing. It's still loading up at the minute. This page. It's because it's warm as well. It just overheats the computer when it's warm. Right, I'll try and get the shield up. Right. I'll try and take a shield, a screenshot. I'll try. Here we go. Let's have a look. They're doing great work. Absolutely fantastic work, these people. Right, that's not it. Right, we'll go back. All right. So I can bring this up. Here we are. I've got them now. I'll post the link, but they are doing a screenshot of their Twitter page because it gives you a brief outline of what they're trying to do. When it loads up, that is. Come back here. It's okay watching patron YouTubers, but we should donate to those who show up, demonstrations, marches, etc. and are activists. Exactly. Totally agree with that. Yeah, it does, Steve. It's on its last legs, mate. This one is. It's the right. I'm just going to take a screenshot. I'll not speak because it'll just go weird on the live stream. Is everybody roasting at the minute? Because this, where I'm at the minute, I've just looked at the temperature where I am, and it's 30 degrees at the minute. It's going to work for it to do it. I don't know what's happening with the chat. It's going crazy at the minute. Steve, what he said, very up for now. Then it's nice to hear, mate, like the chat, but yeah. So 24 where you are, yeah, it's 30 here. It's roasting. Right, come on. I want to take a screenshot so I can close this down and get back to the stream. Come on. Thank you. Right, that's that done. Right, save it now. I just want to show you who they all are because at the minute they've got 35,000 followers on Twitter. They should be way higher than that. Way higher for what they're doing. That's it. Right, I'll copy the link and then I'll put it in the chat. Get rid of that. So wait for that to load up. Right, I'll put it on the screen. I'll put who these are now while that's loading. Exactly, Jack. We don't want our country back. We're taking our country back. And that's a chant everybody needs to chant from now on. Right, these are who they are. I'll drop the link to their web loads up. That is taking forever. Right. Copy and paste that. Come on. That's it. Copy. I'll close that down now. Right, that should be better. Right, so this is the shield. When it loads, that's it. Go and check these people out. This is what's on the screen at the minute. So we are theshield.com. We are the Shield. The Shield is a community interest company, COC, created to protect children and families and the vulnerable people, especially where the system fails them. They actively go out on the streets and they patrol the streets. That's their intentions. They're training people up at the minute to go out on the street and look after vulnerable kids and stuff like in high risk areas where there's like migrant hotels. They'll go into that area and they'll patrol areas where there have been incidents and stuff like that. They have response teams as well, so you can phone them up and say we need help, and they'll turn up, respond to incidents. Basically, they're taking over the job of what the police should be doing that they don't want to do because they're woke, useless, political shite. So yeah, that's them. Get behind these people. These are the people we should be getting behind. Political parties, they'll get money from wherever. They don't need massive donations from the public. They really don't. Get behind these people. This is who we should be celebrating. People like this. So look at some of the chat. So yeah, so my advice is, I know this is probably going to be controversial, don't give your money to Rupert Lowe's Restore UK, your 20 quid. Don't give your money to Ben Habib, your 10 quid to Ben Habib. If you want to spend 30 quid, or you can afford to spend 30 quid, give it to a cause like these people. They're actually going out there and doing something on the street and actually protecting our people, our women and our kids now. That's what I would do. I've already donated to them. I've donated to them already. But the Shield don't want to be known as alternative police because then all sorts of shit will happen. The thing is, though, Steve, they are, but in what they're doing, they are being an alternative, aren't they? They're doing the job that the police won't do or refuse to do. I know it's probably controversial and, you know, they don't want to be seen as being a replacement for the police, but in reality, that's what they're doing. I think they patrol to be a deterrent. They will be a deterrent. So if there's anything going on, they'll show up in numbers and they'll be a deterrent because people are less likely to attack a group of women or a group of kids if a load of big tattooed bikers turn up. They're less likely to do it, aren't they? It's all about being a deterrent. Jews believe that by destroying Europe with immigration, it will be about the turn of their God. Okay. Yes, I know, but Chris said that he doesn't want to be seen as that, as the authorities will act against him. The authorities are going to act against him anyway. They're going to come for him anyway. That's always on the cards. It doesn't matter if that's the way they're going to perceive it. That's the way they're going to see the Shield. They're going to see the Shield as a group of people. I know what you said, they don't want to be seen as vigilantes. Even if that's not how they want to be perceived by the police, that's how the police are going to perceive them. You know that as well as I do, Steve. That's exactly how they're going to perceive them. Cockmeister. I see Corbyn will be getting pegged by Sultana now. He started a Marxist far lefty party. Wonderful. Mind you, he will take votes from Labour. Yeah, that'll split that vote as well. The Shield guy was interviewed recently by Liam Tuss. More than worth watching. Yeah, I watched it. It was awesome. It was awesome. Yes, I know. I bet Vanessa is having a fit. It's just a pity I don't ride a motorbike. Yeah. Right, guys, I've been going for about 1 hour 50 minutes, which is probably one of the longest streams I've done in a while. So I'm going to end it here. I've run out of things to say. Actually, I'm not going to keep talking for the sake of talking, but I'm glad that you guys all came along and were in the chat. Going to end it here. You just go out and enjoy the sun. Go out and enjoy your day. It's beautiful out there. And I will see you in the next video, in the next live stream. Thanks for coming along, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Watch my videos, that sort of thing. Helps me out loads. Thanks, guys. I don't say it's often enough. Thanks for subscribing as well. I wouldn't be anything without you guys. My channel will be nothing without people to watch it. So you make this channel what it is. You really do. And I thank you for that. I really do. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. And I shall see you all in the next video and the next live stream. This is Vindicator signing off.